Welcome to Ridgewood Talks. Through this podcast, we will be introducing you to some of the leaders and legends in our village. We'll keep you updated about fascinating local events. We'll dig into the town's hot topics and so much more. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Jeanne Johnson, the founder of Ridgewood Talks and Ridgewood Walks. The goal of these initiatives is to create a kinder, more connected, and more vibrant community. I'm thrilled to be hosting this podcast with my good friend and all-around wonderful guy, Jordan Kaufman. We look forward to meeting with you weekly and hearing your thoughts on who and what you'd like to learn about in our beautiful hometown. For now, be kind, do good, and enjoy this episode. Here we go. Hi, welcome to Ridgewood Talks. I'm Rosie McCooe, and I'm seated here in Ignite Creator Studio with the Ridgewood Talks founder, Jeanne Johnson, who is joining us remotely. Hi, Jeanne. How are you? We miss you. We wish you were here in the studio with us. We are thrilled to be here today with our special guest who really doesn't need an introduction because you already know him and you already love him. The legendary coach Jim Stroker is here with us. And Jim, you are the very definition of Ridgewood legends. Let me tell you.
I don't know about that.
I'm going to go on and on about your resume because
I'm humbled.
Our audience needs to know that for over 40 years, Coach Stroker has been more than a teacher and a coach here in Ridgewood. He has been a true guiding light, a mentor, a source of strength for so many families, athletes, teachers, students, everybody that you come across every single day of your life. You are known for your booming voice, your unstoppable positivity, and deep-rooted belief in the power of the human spirit.
Wow.
Coach Stroker has taught us what it means to lead with his heart through joy, loss, and his everyday challenges that help shape us. His story is one of resilience, family, faith, community, and if you ever cross paths with him, which I hope you have, once you know Jim Stroker, you know he's always in your court and he will always be rooting and cheering for you. So settle in.
Wow.
Today's episode is more than a conversation.
Thank you so much.
It's a reminder of what life really matters and what life is all about. So Jim, let's get started. We're so thrilled that you are here and we're so happy that Jeanne is joining us remotely.
Well, that's like a namaste moment for me. Like, I'm here filled with gratitude and humility, just shaken by that message, which is so kind and so loving and so appreciated. As you age, and some of us are aging here, when you get near that fourth quarter of the game, or you're in overtime, you realize that, the bell can go off any day. So when you get these incredible moments, like I think there's even a bit more awareness to how special they are. So thank you, Rosie, for
we're
not only that, but which I'll talk about, our soulmate relationship.
Yeah. We've been friends for many, many years, and it's really an honor to know you and your beautiful family.
Thank you.
And I just want to kind of start at the beginning with the genesis of bringing your family here and the story of your grandmother, because if you don't know the story of Jim's grandmother, you really need to hear it from Jim.
Oh. Well, thank you. And I love to continue. And by the way, when I close my eyes, I get a lot of people like, open your eyes, coach. but I, for some reason, can pull things better with my eyes closed. So on occasion, I'm not asleep.
No, you're highly engaged.
I'm just trying to pull a feeling rather than just voice it out.
Thank you.
This is like the one thing I truly believe is that things are happening for a reason, right? And no one can prove me wrong or prove me right. But it's the story that I have that things happen, just like this day today has happened for a reason, right? So, way back, like in 1904, Like this is okay. We can figure that out, Jen. We probably need you for this one.
That's
130.
104 years
Yeah,
ago.
some idea.
Mhm.
1904. My grandma, was living on Avenue A with her family, and her dad and mom own a confectionery store, an ice cream store, and she's got four brothers and sisters at that point: Mary, Margaret, John, and her little brother Ernest. So, and I'll scoot through this a little bit quick. So it's an early June morning, beautiful out, just like today, and the school year has ended, and all the members of the St. Mark's Evangelist Church in Avenue A are all going on this big picnic, right? And they have 1,300 people get on this riverboat. And my grandma, whose name was Anna, her grandmother is taking these five kids, right? Five. So they get on the boat, they get on the riverboat, and my grandma's job is to hold on to her little 5-year-old brother, Ernest. She's 7, right? And they get on the boat, and this normal day, and all of a sudden, one of these door knocks happens. And I'll talk about door knocks.
Okay.
Where all of a
scary.
sudden you're pushed through a doorway. It's not a tap. It's not a subtle
it's alarming.
offering.
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden life changing, and you're not in control of it, right? And these door knocks happen in life, and they take us into this period of transformation where we leave one life and enter another. Well, all of a sudden, the boat catches on fire. And there's chaos. People are running. They're screaming. The life vests are faulty. And my grandma's holding her little brother, and people are jumping off the boat. And of the 1,350 people, 200 survive. Her 3 brothers and sisters perish during this. The grandma somehow is saved, but my grandmother, Anna, jumps off the side of the boat and is one of the survivors with her little brother. The question for the audience is why? How does a 7-year-old stay afloat, unable to swim, with her 5-year? How does she do it?
It's amazing.
Well, she does it for one reason. She has her little brother in her arms. And if there's a big enough reason why, you'll always find the how. So miracles, magic happen when you suddenly get out of yourself and do things for others. You'll find this superpower. So blah, 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 it ends, not a blah, 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 but the family is, the whole area is, and lo and behold, a year later, they come to Ridgewood, New Jersey with this now fragmented family, and they buy a home in Ridgewood and open the first confectionery store in Ridgewood in 1905.
Amazing.
And that's the beginning of this. But my grandma living is the only reason I'm here with you.
Right.
And the only reason she lives is because she saved the life of her little brother. And that's
She
the
was
story.
thinking of someone else. So that's obviously had a profound effect on you and your family, and it's clearly shaped who you are and has kind of
Well,
helped with the trajectory of your life.
yeah. So, and then, and again, I'll stop. I don't want to keep pitching and piss, but, then, this is 1904. And then
124 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, not 100. My math was off. Sorry.
And then 57 years later, my grandmother's daughter, Virginia, has these 2 little boys, Jackie and Jim, and she's married to her dream husband, Jack, who's 48, and bang, the door knock happens again. And suddenly my 48-year-old dad dies of a massive heart attack. She's 44. So here goes my mom pulling the same routine. She's got to save her 2 little boys. And she does that with incredible courage because it's about others. And then real quick, obviously 61 now to
I was lucky
89.
enough to know Ginny. Yes,
Right.
she was a
Well,
wonderful woman,
then
amazing
28
neighbor. She was my neighbor.
And then 28 years later, Jim, come quick. Something's happened. Jody and the kids have been in a car accident. And here we go again. The same routine. And, so, but let me
So
stop.
be ready when the door knocks.
Well, the
The
door
door's
knock,
going to knock.
the door knocks three ways. And I don't want, I should get Jeannie in to throw, but the door knocks three ways, which is very
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
Okay. You've got these subtle taps, these call to action. Joseph Campbell, I should go there. I should open the studio in Ridgewood. This urge, this craving that's coming from somewhere. Elizabeth Gilbert in Big Magic talks about these feelings, like these little taps going, you should. And oftentimes there's a refusal of the call, says Campbell. Not now. I'd like to, but
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot. The tap, right? Then there's the knocks. You have no freaking choice. Excuse me. Like you're you're pulled through the doorway. You're in another world. There's no invitation. This is an initiation. There's no option. It's an obligation. It's the earth saying, this is where you're going. And then the last little knock is a touch on your doorway. And those are the people that serendipitously come into your life as soulmates and visit you during this experience. And they're here in an alchemistic way to transform their love and energy onto you and give you the support you need. So 3 little doorway trips. One's a touch, one's a tap, and then you got to go here. So I like that.
I
So
like
that's
that.
kind of what I'm thinking.
I love that.
Well, I don't know if you love it, but it's something that it's not just a fun little, I believe it's real, I mean, our relationship certainly is why did I meet? No, is this supposed to happen?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
Well, because you were the neighborhood ringleader, by the way. And my husband grew up with you, and he'd get the kids running around the block and give a quarter to whoever ran the fastest around the block and things like that. And you were always, as a young man, engaging people in such a profound kind of way and getting everyone going and excited to live their best lives. I mean, you've been naturally doing that. And that came from your mother and your grandmother and your great grandmother. It sounds like this lineage of people who just pushed you forward.
or just maybe because my dad died when I was 9, maybe because I never had a dad, I was trying to vicariously be a dad and live that experience. So maybe the only reason that I've been able to who I am is because of this event, E plus R equal O, that created this reason. So, I feel so bad, Jeannie. You're there. I'm looking at you, but
Here
Jeannie,
I am. Here I am. And I'm so happy to see you. Thank you so much for being on the show. And you just talked about the E plus R equals O. And you told me not long ago that your mom actually had that written all over your house as a boy growing up. So why don't you share with our listeners what the E plus R equals O equation is all about?
Okay, so so when my dad dies, and she's just in a state of devastation. It's unthinkable. In those days, I don't know why, it didn't seem like 48-year-old men were dying of heart attacks or having cancer. Like this was like unheard of. What? Jack died? She's 44, right? So I guess for about a month, she was a normal person. She was, just.
What do you mean by normal?
Well, normal, she was just devastated. I mean,
Okay.
we laid in our home just in a state of grief and going through sorrow, anger, fear, etc. Until one morning she got up and said, hey, we have a choice here. The event that happened, Daddy's death, we can't control. It's out of our control. But what we do with it, how we respond to it, that are, we own. And I'll tell you what, we're going to have the best childhood ever. You're going to have the best life. So this event, E, which happens to all of us, is out of our control. It's already happened. Like we're not going to give any more, we're not going to give any more power to that. It's out of our control. What we're going to give all of our power to, all of our focus to, is how we choose to respond. And again, this is Viktor Frankl. This is A Man's Search for Meaning. Everything, he's there, obviously, the 40s, 4 Nazi concentration camps. He's lost his family. He's lost everything. Everything. They've been tortured, murdered. He says, no, time out. Time out. Everything can be taken except one thing. One thing. And that is a person's ability to choose one's attitude, to choose one's response in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So this is really edgy stuff because, but it's the amor fati message, right? And that's a big part of what we talk about. And amor fati is a Stoic term, meaning basically life has not happened to you. It's happening for you. And Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus would all say, just act as if it's supposed to be happening, and you'll always be happy. Like this is the role, this is the assignment you've been given here on this earth. This is what you're supposed to do. Maybe in the next life, I don't know, we coming back again? I don't know. I like to think we might be. But right now in this game right here, the challenges you've been given are given for you. And so, it's the 3 belts, right? And then I'll stop talking. 3 belts of amor fati, right? You have the white belts. Those are the young rookies that are here early in their life going, why us? Cheapers, creepers, this is not fair. And they blame, complain, and whine. That's
we
normal.
all know those people.
Yeah. And we ourselves fall into the trap. And then there's the veterans, right? Then there's the old veterans that learn to surrender into the pose, we say in yoga, and accept what's happened. They actually accept it. I'm getting older. I have no hair. Well, nothing I can do about that. It happened. But then we have the black belts, amor fati, those who embrace the challenge. And they actually say it's the love, according to Nietzsche, the love of your fate. So this is easy to say, hard to do.
Yes.
I love the fact I have MS. Watch me. I love the fact that I lost someone I love, because now, and again, that's being a little bit bizarre, but now I'm going to embrace my new life and I am going to live it to my best ability and I'm going to love it. I will stop. So Allie and I speak a lot at a lot of elementary schools.
Yes.
And these innocent little kids are so great. Like, how do you take a shower? How do you put your jeans on? Just like questions of like,
Right.
But the best question is always, don't you wish you could walk?
So for our audience members who don't know,
Yeah, okay.
we should probably just do a little backstory on that.
Okay.
So Jim had as he mentioned earlier, had a major knock on his door when his children were quite small, and his wife was involved in a horrible car accident, which left his daughter, Allie, paralyzed from the waist down. His son
Traumatic head injury.
had a traumatic head injury, and Tori was not born yet. But, and you dealt with it. You embraced that knock on the door, I would say. You and your family chose to embrace that knock on the door and live life to its fullest.
Well, and don't forget that those that touched our door,
Yes.
Don't forget the people that
Yes.
came, because our little team was, we had a strong team, but the team then was touched by all people, including yourself and your family, who gave the support, the spark, the love. All that is a giant part of what happened. So
Yes.
not just us, we were there full time, but without all the thousands of people that came to our doorway and said, "We will sacrifice our lives for you." No, then nothing
And
happened.
Allie always dreamed of becoming a Broadway actress, and she made her dream come true. She's a Tony Award winning actress. And your daughter Tori's a nutritionist, and Jake is a father of two. And the kids have gone on to have these amazing lives, thanks to the community and thanks to how you raised them and how you chose to show them the light and the way to live their lives. It's really a remarkable story.
Well,
It's a hometown story. And it's a story that we all love so much.
yeah.
Definitely. And I have to say, I'm tickled, so tickled that you are on to the next generation, because how many grandsons do you have now?
I have five.
Five grandsons. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
And you are spreading that positive energy, that positive message to you, obviously given it to your children because they are all in professions where they are giving back. And, I'm always impressed with the way that you are up there and you are helping people find their best selves. And for myself, you have recommended countless books for me to read. And the last one that you recommended for me was called Make Magic by, what's his name? Brad Meltzer.
Right.
And I loved it, by the way. And it's the backstory of his commencement speech to his sons at his son's graduation from the University of Michigan. And interestingly, that speech was given on May 4th of 2024. And I understand that there is a big talk that's going to be taking place on May 4th, 2025, and you will be delivering your first TED Talk in Florence, Italy. That is amazing. Can you please tell us more about that and how it all came to fruition? It's so exciting for all of us here in town that this guy, our coach, is going to be a TED Talker. That's incredible.
Well, it's a good, you know, another doorway thing, right? Like these serendipitous coincidences. Like they say, when you're on a spiritual journey, there's no coincidences. Everything's happening. So a friend of mine that I met, why, I don't know, good friend, Timmy Boucher, that we're all,
Sure.
Timmy's like one of the super legends of town. So Timmy's on the bus, and then serendipitously, he meets a woman. Why? And this woman, serendipitously, is an international speaker, a former TED talker, a TED Talk coach. And Timmy and Jen meet and talk. And then Tim, why, I don't know, says, "You ought to meet Jim." And Jen meets me.
Amazing.
And then everything happens. So this little.
That Jersey Transit connection.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that.
So I get to go to Florence and on May 4th, deliver this 15-minute chat.
Are you going to go off script or you can have your script ready?
Well, it's
That's
hard
what I
for
want to
me
know.
Yeah, I have somewhat of a script, but it's so much more fun to let things flow a little bit. That but I have a script. Yeah.
Oh,
Kind of.
that's going to be
So
so
it should be
great,
fun.
Jim. I can't wait to see that. I will not be in Florence with you, but I can't wait to see that
Well, thank you,
afterwards. It's
Lindsay.
amazing.
Excited.
Yeah, it's really
be great.
amazing.
Yeah.
So did you have a mentor growing up? I mean, how did you get into teaching and coaching? You coached for so many years. Of course, you were a tremendous athlete yourself, legend at Ridgewood High School on the sports fields, and then became a coach for 30 plus years.
Yeah. Well, people, again, I'll use the doorway analogy. People came to my door, you know, and offered to play the game of mentor, surrogate dad, role model, emblem, symbol. They said, I'll come into your life. Why? Because of love, because it's the most beautiful thing. Everyone who came to my help had ironically experienced some major door knock in their life. So they had developed the most important virtue you can develop called empathy. So now when you've developed that because of the challenges you've gone through, you then spot people that need that help. And you're the ones that show up in the door, and that's the gift of the challenges we go through. So, you know, hundreds of people played that male role model, but all of them I looked at as someone who was acting like my dad. And so I think
And giving you guidance and encouragement.
And I don't think I teach if my dad hadn't passed away. I think it's all about that, and every time I get a chance to sit in front of like 40 little kids like this, and I'm saying, no, just be a good person. It's crucially important.
Yeah.
Just be kind. I think that's me down there. And this is my dad. So
And don't let anyone steal your peace.
don't let anybody steal your peace is crucial.
Favorite Jim Stroker line. You are you're a master storyteller. You really are. And you've touched so many lives. Who's your favorite audience to speak to?
Yeah. You want to know the truth? My favorite audience to speak to is our trips to the Hudson County Correctional Facility. And it's one of the most, it's one area that, like, when you walk in there and, you've got 75, 80 people who are incarcerated, it just feels like this ability to connect with that group. And I've never been in prison, but I have been in prison, right? I mean, I have been in prison here. I have felt shackled. I have felt like all of my control is lost. So I've felt like they felt. And to be able to make analogies or metaphors or give them hope and connect with them soul to soul, it's one of the most exciting things in the world, because I think we're all good people, and sometimes we make bad choices. And a lot of the people that I meet in there just didn't have that support that I was lucky enough to have. And so, they ended up in that facility. So, but I love that. But I love every group I speak to, but that's kind of a fun one.
That's neat. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And you became a yogi.
Yeah.
And you didn't always do that.
No.
Came a little bit later in life.
Yeah.
Tell us about that journey.
Well, as all of us here, I've always been so enamored by there's two games in life, right? You got the outside game of what's going on out there. You're in the plate and you get into the batter's box and you're reading the pitcher and looking out of the outfield. You got this outside external game going on. And then there's the inner game, right? Stuff that's going on between the ears. And I couldn't control that. My fear overcame me in so many athletic situations. And I was always enamored by why and why I was able to sit in my backyard and hit jumpers and then get in the game and feel that fear. And that would shackle me in some way. So I've always been enamored by that. So when I entered the world of yoga, it was kind of like slow motion football. Like instead of, it was like taking the ball and extending your arm and breathing and then coming through. Everything slowed down. And it was the first time in my life that I ever felt in Shavasana, which of course is this powerful pose at the end of yoga, when you actually lie there in a state of tranquility, peace, and serenity.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never been able to really be totally closed off. Like my mind was always going.
I've seen you coaching on the sidelines. You're got a lot of energy, a lot of energy.
So I was just intrigued by the ability to breathe and what that really feels like, and the transformative effect of breathing on your nervous system, the power of closing your eyes and visualizing, the power of self-talk, the power of just you feeling these thoughts come in, recognizing them, and then allowing them to float away. This whole inside stuff is
Very powerful.
yeah, I love it. So that to me is what yoga is not about the poses. It's about all the other stuff that's going on up here. But,
And the peace in your heart and your soul too, I would imagine,
yeah,
right? I mean, that's how
absolutely.
I feel it when I
Yeah,
do yoga. I just feel an overwhelming sense of peace run throughout my whole being. So,
yeah,
and I've taken some of your yoga classes. You are phenomenal. And I'm seeing on your hat, it's an LBI hat. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because I know that that's very meaningful for you too, to be on the
yeah.
beach doing your yoga. Is it every Saturday you do that? And then
All
Sunday?
summer I still, ironically, there's a 73-year-old man on the beach at LBI all Sunday and Monday, teaching this incredible new athletic game called yoga. But there, if you've ever been to Long Beach Island, and I'm sure you all have, there's a bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that bridge, I could still remember my dad. I can't remember that many things, but I could still remember him. And he may have had a cigarette in his mouth because it's back in 1960.
Smoking was glamorous.
I mean, but my dad went in the city every day on the train uptown and came home at night from Springs Mills. He was this incredible guy who's, like handsome jet black hair, not like mine. Just like had everything, right? But he was stressed out by his job in the city, would come home at night at 7 o'clock on the train, then go out and coach football. But when we drove over that bridge, I can still feel and hear him like it was like this transformation from this life of stress and self-doubt and fear and then you got over that bridge and over the other bridge was this incredible feeling of peace. And, it became our spot. And the ocean still is the place that I find, this incredible metamorphosis that can take me inside. And I just love it. So I go there. And after the kids were injured, we spent a lot of time recovering down there. So it's just a special place that I'm sure we all have. But for me, LBI is a big one.
And of course, Allie got her start doing her first musical on the beach.
Yeah, and that's a great quickie is we buy the house down Long Beach Island. And then for no apparent reason, next door to us is this homeowner. And their names are called the Antonoffs. And we're like, we have no idea who this is. We just bought a house. Well, their youngest child, Sarah, is at the time about 6, and the oldest living girl with this brain tumor that's going to take her life at any time. But she's still alive. She's been able to, and she's got this brain tumor. So she and Allie get like this.
Oh.
They become like best friends, right? And one summer, Rachel, her older sister, goes to theater camp, comes home at the end of theater camp, and says, "Hey, I'm going to do a show here. We need some people." And of course, Allie raises her hand. She tries out for the show, and Rachel, casts her as Annie in her first show. Now, her brother is Jack. Jack is kind of famous. He's the songwriter for Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And as
he did okay,
yeah,
as they
he's
say.
done a million things. And the great band Fun. He's now in the band Bleachers, but Jack is the brother.
Wow.
So Jack, like Sarah dies the summer after. Jack spends all summer on the porch playing his guitar and singing songs about Sarah. Reasons happen, blah, blah, blah. So Allie rolls out onto the stage to get her Tony Award in this yellow dress that's like, and of course, Rachel, who's now a dress designer, made that dress. So is this all like, does life just happen? I tend to think not.
Right.
So anyway, it's kind of a cute story about LBI.
I love that story. And you were a natural coach on the field, and now you're this terrific sought after life coach.
Well,
So tell us a little bit about how that happened. And do you have a favorite story about
yeah.
your impact, your positive impact on someone's journey?
Well, I always love coaches. And my favorite coach, probably one of them, is Jim Bruni at Ridgewood High School. And Bruni would, like you're playing a basketball court, like if you refuse to cut off the baseline and draw the charge, a normal coach would be, come on, step in, draw the charge. But Bruni always made the analogy to life. He said, are you unwilling to sacrifice your life for others, our team? Are you unwilling to step up and be courageous enough to do something that's difficult? How will you answer that in life? And he always had these life lessons that we could oh my God, Socrates would have said this. And I always love the fact that these games we play and get enamored by and get caught up in are great, but they're just practice for the big game. And the big game, of course, is life. And the arenas that we enter outside the fields are just, the things that we've practiced. So, I was just here and a couple of my friends were talking about their daughters having a difficult time on the teams they're playing in, whatever. Or a son, I was just walking up here. And, this is just practice. And maybe sometime 5 years from now, 6 years from now, they're going to need that patience, that ability to just find the good things about the challenges they're going through. So I just love that life coaching, and it's something that, we all do. Blah, blah, blah. Stop.
Let's talk a little bit about, you told me about 6 months ago that you've had some parents call you up and say, hey, listen, my son is having a little bit of a hard time launching, and you have now, your coaching practice is really, really full. And so you suggested a new tactic to address these issues. So let's talk a little bit about that, of what you want to accomplish to help those kids who are having a little bit of a hard time launching.
Yeah. So someone else touched my door. Her name, I don't know if you've heard of her. She's quite an interesting woman. Her name is Jeanne Johnson.
Oh, I know Jeannie.
Yeah. She touched my doorway.
Oh, for crying out loud, mister.
And then tapped my doorway and offered a calling. So Jeanne has this intense ability to not only think about ideas like a lot of us do, but she's one of these people who actually Barack Obama would have liked her. She gets things done.
Oh, she gets done.
Like they get done.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. Let's finish it. So this is someone I want to be around, because that's a unique quality, right? That's a special attribute. Yeah. And she's good at pushing ahead. Reminds me of a woman that I used to know called my mother. No, we're going to get this done, right?
She's a doer. Jeannie, you're a doer.
Idea that we've shared about 20-year-olds that really are having some challenges, and rightly so. It's a pretty crazy world right now. It's pretty mixed up, and there's a lot of 20-year-olds that are, that are crying, I don't want to do it like everybody else. I don't think I like this world of becoming rich and famous and owning boats and houses and hating my job or whatever. They're looking for avenues to find themselves. And so I just, I've had some clients, and we're looking for programs out there that they could go to for a week or a month, and nothing really bites me like, that's great. And then lo and behold, the tap on the door, Jeanne said, well, I've got a great idea. And so we've been like a watercolor painting. We're taking two colors and blending them together, and have some great new venture that we're interested in doing. And then Jeanne, of course, is connected to all kinds of great people, and we bring them in. So we're on this new venture, this new adventure that that's in fruition. It's happening to create this respite, this place where 20-year-olds can go to and find themselves, get back on the right track. So that's kind of that.
Well, I wish you
Yeah.
both a lot of luck with that venture. That sounds amazing. And like there's definitely a void there that needs to be filled. So
Yeah.
thank you for being visionaries with that.
Great.
It's really exciting. I'm tickled to be partnering with you on that and to really help families, because I think that it affects the entire family when somebody has not really reached their own potential or doesn't even know what their potential is. So this is transformational leadership training for these young people. And I'm so thrilled about it, because the component that I'm the most excited about is the giving back piece of it, the going out into the community and working together as a team. So we're hoping that we can get these kids to, take the leadership training and then go out into the world and serve the people around them. So that's really what I'm the most excited about. And I couldn't be happier to be doing this with somebody like you. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity. And I am so eager to see.
Well, that's going to have a great outcome. I can't wait. That's going to have a great outcome. Any final
from your
thoughts,
mouth to
Jim?
God's ears, that's what I have to say.
Yes, yes. Any final thoughts, Jim? Anything we didn't talk about?
Oh, okay. Well, let's finish it with a story.
Great. Master storyteller, Jim Stroker.
So this is one of my favorites that I like to finish things up with. There's this daredevil by the name of the Great Pierre. And his real name is Charles Blondin, and he travels all over the world doing these daredevil stunts. And this is way back in the early 1920s. And Blondin goes like, come to Niagara Falls. I'll do the most amazing stunt you've ever seen. And the message goes out internationally, and all the reporters run to Niagara Falls. And they get there, and they're like, oh, no, we can't. No. There's this high wire that's running from the coast of the Canadian border over the United States border. And they're like, no, he can't. He can't be going to do this. And they're looking down. He goes, this is a death wish. So lo and behold, all of a sudden, the Great Pierre walks out of his trailer, and he walks up to the tightrope and starts walking across the tightrope and walks out about 10 yards and then freezes. And everyone's like, and he backs up. He backs up right off the rope. And it was, I knew it was just too much. And he walks behind the trailer, comes out pushing a wheelbarrow filled with bricks. True story. And he takes the wheelbarrow and starts pushing it across the tightrope. And people they can't believe it. He pushes all the way across, gets to the other end. And of course, people are like, they're flashing pictures. They're screaming, Pierre, how did you practice this? How did you get the idea? Where did you come up with this? And then one reporter raises his hand and goes, could you do it again? And Pierre goes, whoa. Ask that question again. And the reporter goes, well, could you do it again? He says, what do you think? And the reporter goes, well, I think you could. He goes, do you really believe I can? He goes, I believe you can. He goes, one more time. He says, I believe it. Pierre walks over to the wheelbarrow, dumps out the bricks, and says, good. Get in the wheelbarrow. We're going back. So it's one thing to believe. It's another thing to actually do, right? So if you really believe in love and kindness and empathy and caring for others, then actually do it. And it doesn't take that much, right? Just a smile, just a pat on the back, just a touch of someone's doorway could maybe change their life today or maybe their entire life. That's what happened to me. So it's just a fun story.
Well, Jim,
God, we love you so much. We love you so much, Coach. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you just for giving so much of who you are to the world. You are incredible.
Thank you. Same goes. And hats off to everything you've done. Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening today and tuning in to Ridgewood Talks. I am the guest host today, Rosie McCooe, here with the very essence of Ridgewood legend, Coach Jim Stroker. Jim, you're a master storyteller. You have raised the spirits of countless, countless, countless people within our community and now our world. The world is going to get to see you when you deliver your TED Talk in Italy next month. So I guess we have to share you with the rest of the world, but we will. But thank you so much for joining us today. And as Jim says, don't let anyone steal your peace.
Okay. Thank you, Rosie.
And don't
Thank you so much.
forget
Love
that
you.
this episode was recorded at Ignite Creator Studios in Ridgewood, downtown Ridgewood. We are so proud to be affiliated with them. And we want everyone to log on and watch this episode, watch all of our episodes on all the places that you find your podcasts. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and stay tuned for even more exciting episodes. Take care.